So this is a Catena sequence in a forest just outside the Prince Albert pulp mill, the old Prince Albert pulp mill. What I want to do is walk from this upper slope position down to this lower slope and allow you to see the change in vegetation due to the effect of landscape. But before I do that, I wanted to let you just see some of the vegetation here. And this is really unique because it's a kind of a rare plant in Saskatchewan. But these are a type of orchid, and I'll see if you can figure out what kind of orchid that is. But it's apparently very rare, and you don't see them very often here in Saskatchewan. So there are actually a bunch of clumps of these orchids here. Here is another nice clump of orchids. And you can look in your books and you can figure out what kind of orchid that is. You can see there's other kinds of ground vegetation here, not very much. And what I'm going to do is begin walking down this Catena landscape, and then afterwards we'll have a conversation about what kind of trees you're seeing. So we have a forest canopy here. Got a lot of bare ground actually. And so I'm beginning to walk down the slope. And I'll pause here for 1 minute, just so you can look around. I'm coming about maybe halfway down the slope here. You can see some cones on the ground, some different types of lichen and mosses. And here we have a little bit of a roadway going into this Fort Corne area. And I'm just getting to about the toe slope here on this Catena sequence. And you can see that the ground cover is starting to change. And right here you see this dramatic difference in the ground cover than at the top of the hill. We're seeing some more mosses, seeing more herbs. And I'll just give you all a second to have a look at some of this, because this is going to change the ecosite classification for the upper slope position and this depressional area here. And what I want you to do is to take that ecosite book, and based on the vegetation that you see on the ground and the trees, figure out what kind of ecosite this is. And we are, as I said, near the Weyerhaeuser Mill, so we're in the boreal plain ecosite. And now we're seeing some other kinds of vegetation here. And all of a sudden, we start getting some shrubs. And we still have forest canopy, but we have some shrubs here. Remember one year we walked into a wasp's nest in the ground. Hopefully I don't hit that today. And so you can see that the vegetation here has changed dramatically from the upper slope position. And the question is why? Why do we see a greater abundance of different kinds of vegetation down in this depressional area than at the top of the slope? And so I want you just to first figure out what the ecosite classification would be for this particular spot and at the top of the hill. And and then I'll give you a little bit of an explanation of what I think is happening at this particular location. I will point out that there is, and you may be able to see it from here, but maybe if I can walk over there. But we also now have another tree species in here, which was not at the top of the hill. So we have this other conifer, and there are a few more of them around here as well. And the mosquitoes are just wonderful in here. Okay, so look through your ecosite books and figure out the kind of ecosites that we're dealing with at the top of the hill and down here in the depressional area, and then I will then explain what these ecosites are and the soils that are associated with them.